Sorry, the audio was mute. The audio was mute. Yeah, this is the problem that we are discussing. The minus here, this is the signal. Okay, in place of omega naught, we have pi by 2. Okay, so this standard signal is sine omega naught n u of n. Understand that? Sine omega naught n u of n is the standard signal. Now, we have to introduce a minus sign. Since this is the minus sign here, we need to introduce minus sign here also. Okay, to compensate this, we introduce a minus here. What does that mean? Okay, here sine minus theta. If you consider this as minus theta, sine minus theta is minus sine theta. So that minus sine theta, that out this the minus here would get multiplied by this. So this is as good as this. So this signal is the given signal only, but we are trying to bring in a minus sign along with this n, since there is a minus here. And since there is a minus sign introduced here, to compensate that, we have introduced a minus sign here. So this, if you work out, so it would become minus sine pi by 2n, and since there is a minus here, so that time minus this minus goes up and we'll be left with n sine pi by 2n into u of minus n. So it's one and the same, but I want to see this minus here. Okay, that's why that operation is made. Now, in the next step, we need to consider the basic signal, that is sine omega naught n u of n. We have derived the z transform of sine omega naught n u of n. Okay, and here in place of omega naught n, we have pi by 2. That's it, no difference at all. Fine. So let's take that signal. Let's take that signal and apply z transform on that. So we have just taken this signal without time negation. Okay, so if you apply z transform on this, so this is a standard transform that we need to remember. We have found this, and we have to remember this in such problems. Okay, now ROC z greater than 1. This also is something that we have found out in that problem, so we need to remember both for sine omega naught n, cos omega naught n, the ROC is outside the circle with radius 1. This is how we need to remember. Okay, for both sine omega naught n u of n and cos omega naught n u of n, the ROC is outside the circle with radius 1, because both are positive time sequences, because u of n is associated there. So since they are positive time sequences here, see this u of n, since this u of n is associated here, okay, this is a positive time sequence, and for positive time sequence, it is outside the circle with radius 1. Fine. Now what is sine pi by 2 and cos pi by 2? Why did they give pi by 2? Because this equation has to be simplified. So what way we can simplify? Sine pi by 2 is 1 and cos pi by 2 is 0. Okay, that's why the right hand side gets reduced to z by z square plus 1. Is that okay with you? The right hand side is reduced to z by z square plus 1. ROC would remain the same. Fine. So we have got the z transform of sine pi by 2 n u of n, but here we have minus here and minus here. So we need to introduce minus here. So what are we doing by introducing minus? So the signal which was on the right hand side now is going to left hand side of 0. Understand this? Okay. So we are going to introduce a minus sign. So when I introduce a minus sign, it is time reversal. So what is that we understand by time reversal property? If we time reverse, this z has to be replaced by 1 by z. So introduce minus sign here and replace this z by 1 by z, and similarly replace this z in ROC also by 1 by z. Is this okay with you? That is what the time reversal property tells us. That is this, using differentiation z domain property. Okay, what they've done in this problem is, yeah, what they've done is they've not gone for time reversing. If we time reverse, we get that we can do it that way also. But in this problem, what they've done is they're going for differentiation time number. That means before introducing this minus sign, they have introduced this n. So you multiply n to this. Okay, if you multiply n to this, what would be the z transform of this? If you multiply n, what would be the z transform of that? Yeah, if you multiply n, you have to the z transform of n is minus z into d by dz. You should remember, whenever this n is there, okay, the z transform of this n is minus z into d by dz of z transform of this, which we have found out earlier, which has become z by z square plus 1. Understand that? So instead of introducing minus, they have introduced n first. Okay, so since we are introducing n, it is differentiation in z domain property. What does it say? Differentiate. See, the z transform of n is this minus z d by dz, and z transform of this is something that is there within the bracket. So if you differentiate this, okay, this will happen to be this. Okay, ROCs remain same. ROC has not changed. The differentiation property has no difference on ROC, no effect on ROC. So ROC would remain same. Now we shall introduce the minus sign. Okay, so replacing n by minus n. Okay, replacing n by minus n, we use time reversal property. If x of n is x of z, then x of minus n is x of 1 by z. That means you introduce minus sign and replace all these z's by 1 by z, and this z also by 1 by z. That is what is done here. So soon after the minus is introduced, okay, on this side z is replaced by 1 by z. It looks like this, and r in ROC becomes z less than 1, because here even in ROC z is replaced by 1 by z. So it becomes magnitude 1 by z greater than 1, which is as good as saying z is less than 1. Why the greater than 1 became less than 1 here? Because this is negative time sequence, whereas this is positive time sequence. Understand this problem? Yes, the challenge is to remember these standard transforms. See this? So these standard transforms are given you the list of that. So that needs to be remembered no other way. Okay, if you remember, you can solve this problem, otherwise you cannot. Fine. And it's not difficult remembering all that. How many different types of basic signals or standard signals we have? We have delta of n, that is unit impulse function. Okay, and the z transform of that is 1. Okay, and we have u of n, unit step function. The z transform of that is z by z minus 1, and the ROC is z greater than 1 outside the circle with radius 1. Then we have positive time exponential, negative time exponential, then sinusoidals. So this is what you need to remember. Okay, so with that knowledge, we are able to do this. So which are the properties we have used? We have used differentiation in z domain property and time reversal properties. Yeah, differentiation in z domain property when we multiply n, and when we negate n, it is time reversal property. Now let's see this problem. Here also you need to find out x of z using the properties. Fine. Now, which is the standard signal? Minus alpha power n u of minus n minus 1 is standard signal. Okay, but this problem they have solved in different way. Okay, what way they have solved? This minus they have associated with this. Okay, see this? Minus u of minus n minus 1. Do we know this signal? Yes, this is the standard signal. Negative time exponential, there was a power b minus b power n, right? So that b is 1 here. So negative time exponential, in negative time exponential, b is replaced by 1 and you have this. What can I call this signal? This signal can be called as negative time unit step function. What is the region, what is the z transform of this? It is z by z minus 1 only. But ROC is inside the circle with radius 1. For u of n, if you have u of n here, then also region of convergence, then also the z transform is z by z minus 1 only. But for u of n, the ROC should be z greater than 1. But since it is negative sequence, the ROC is z less than 1. This is one thing that I wanted to give you. Next, what shall we do? We shall bring in n to this. If we bring in n, which property is that? We'll multiply this signal by n. So multiplying n in time domain is differentiation in z domain property. So using differentiation in z domain property. What is the differentiation? What is the z transform of this? What is z transform of this? What is z transform of n? This minus is associated with this. This minus is associated with this signal. So let's not get confused with it. So what is z transform of n? Z transform of n is minus z d by dz of z transform of this, that is here. So it is minus z d by dz of z transform of minus u of minus n minus 1, which is there in the previous step. The ROC would remain same. Let's not bother about it, because differentiation will have no effect on ROC. You have made that statement earlier. Now if you differentiate that, okay, you would get that differentiation to be this. Fine. Now we have to, now this is ready now, minus n u of minus n minus, which what needs to be introduced here? Compare this and this and tell me this given signal and this signal. So what needs to be introduced? Alpha power n needs to be introduced. Yes, if we introduce alpha power n, which property is that? Multiplication by n is over. Differentiation is z domain property. Okay. Now what? We are introducing alpha power n. That means multiplication by an exponential. Here multiplication by an exponential, because we are multiplying this problem, this particular signal by alpha power n. Alpha power n is an exponential. So this is multiplication by an exponential property. So what happens if you multiply an exponential to a signal? Okay, in the z transform of the signal, the z is replaced by z by a. Or along with z, you have another term called a inverse. Okay, so if I introduce alpha power n, in place of a, we have alpha, that's it. So what would happen in z domain? Whatever we had in z domain earlier, okay, so that needs to be replaced by this z by z minus 1 whole square. What we have done? We have replaced z by z minus z by alpha. This z we have replaced by z by alpha. So how it is going to look like? Z is replaced by z by alpha. This z is replaced by z by alpha minus 1 whole square. So how does it look like? So this becomes this. Okay, and since z is replaced by z by alpha, okay, so magnitude z would be what? So it would be z less than alpha. Where is that ROC? ROC is not dealt with here. ROC z, it is z less than 1. So what we need to do, in place of z, we need to bring z by alpha. So it would be z by alpha is less than 1. ROC would be z by alpha less than 1. So it is as good as z less than alpha. Okay, so here just observe how the problem was done. First, minus u of minus n minus 1 was taken, then n is introduced, then alpha power 1 is introduced. This is one way of solving this problem. Okay, alternately what we can do, we can take negative time exponential, See what is the Z transform of that. To this, you introduce a n. If you introduce n using differentiation in Z domain property, what you do? So this answer and the answer that we have got in the previous method should be seen. So check that by yourself by solving this problem. I hope this is negative time exponential, everybody. Minus b power n u of minus n minus 1. Understand that? So what is the Z transform of that? It is Z by Z minus alpha. ROC is magnitude Z less than magnitude alpha. That means ROC is inside the circle with radius alpha. So introduce n, okay, and what you would have here by differentiation in Z domain property. So using that, you solve this problem, and that answer should match this, and it would match. Okay, so that's a small exercise which you can take to boost up your confidence. Fine, let's go on with the next problem. That's this. Find the Z transform of the following signal. They have not asked us the problem as find the convolution of the two signals. Okay, see, there is convolution. This is convolution problem, but they have not asked us to find out the convolution of these two, but they have asked us to find out the Z transform of this whole signal. Okay, but we know what happens to this convolution operator if we apply Z transform. So let's just consider this convolution part and apply Z transform on that. Let's just consider this convolution part and apply Z transform on that. So from the convolution in time domain property, okay, what's happening is here. This part is taken, on that the Z transform is applied, and this is positive time exponential, and this is the same signal. The same signal is being convolved. Okay, so this convolution operator would now become multiplication operator. Okay, Z by Z minus 1 is the Z transform of this, Z by Z minus half, sorry, Z by Z minus half rather. So that needs to be multiplied because this is becoming multiplication. So the whole stuff would look like Z by Z minus half whole square. And since this is positive time sequence, the magnitude Z is greater than half, which means that the region of convergence is outside the circle with radius half. So this is understood. So we know the Z transform of what is there within the bracket. Now let's introduce n. Now let's introduce n to this. Okay. Now when we introduce n to this, which property again? Differentiation in Z domain property. So introduce n. Okay. So this n, the Z transform of this n is minus Z d by dz. Z transform of n is minus Z d by dz, and Z transform of this you have obtained here. That is this. So if you differentiate this and multiply minus Z, it would become this, and the region of convergence is this. So this is what is the final answer. It's a small problem. It's a small problem provided you understand the convolution property and differentiation in Z domain property. So properties are very important tools to find the Z transforms in the faster way. Okay, otherwise solving this would take a lot of time. If we start by the basic equation, so that would take a lot of time. Understand? So this is how we do using the property, so that see the steps involved. Okay, so there are very less steps. Yes, you need to understand, you need to remember the convolution property, you need to remember the differentiation Z domain property. Okay, so that is something that would make the things easy for you. Fine. Now let's get into inverse Z transforms. Inverse. Till now, what we have seen is Z transforms. Okay. So now we shall see the inverse Z transforms. What is inverse Z transform? Till now, X of n used to be given, and we used to apply Z transform on that to get X of Z. Okay. Now they'll be giving us X of Z along with the ROC. I'll come to that later on, along with the ROC, which I'll be talking about as the second part of this. But first, understand X of Z would be given here, and with X of Z, you need to be able to obtain X of n, which means I'm applying inverse Z transform on X of Z to obtain the time domain signal X of n. Okay, and which method I'm using to deal with it? The method that I'm using is partial fraction expansion method. So you're all aware of partial fraction method. Using the partial fraction method, we will be solving this problem. This is the problem given. See, you have to find the inverse Z transform of the sequence X of Z given here. Okay. Inverse Z transform you have to obtain means it is as good as obtaining X of n, the time domain signal X of n, which is not told directly. Find X of n given X of Z, they could have asked. In other way, what they're asking, find inverse Z transform of X of Z, they're asking. One and the same. Okay. But they've given three different ROCs here. Three different ROCs. Because every X of Z is associated with an ROC, but ROCs can change. X of Z would remain same sometimes. In which case the X of Z is same, but the ROC would change. In which case X of Z would remain same and ROCs would change. Can you come to the chat window, everybody? Let's see how many of you can respond to that. Chat window, everybody. For which sequences X of Z is same, but ROC is different. Can you take that? Anybody? Listen to me very carefully. I'm asking you for which sequence X of Z is same but ROC is different. X of Z is same for some signals. Which are those signals for which the X of Z are same? Do that in the chat window. You can type easily. Let's see. Nobody wants to type. You should respond. Otherwise, I start doubting whether you're understanding it or not. Okay. Okay. I'll give you that. For u of n and minus u of minus n minus 1. That means u of n, which signal is that? U of n is unit step sequence. Another u of n is minus u of minus n minus 1, the negative time unit step function. So for u of n also it is z by z minus 1. For minus u of minus n minus 1 also it is z by z minus 1. But the ROC would change. How the ROC would change? ROC would change because for u of n it is z greater than 1. For minus u of n minus u of minus n minus 1, the ROC is less than 1. Okay. Now, that's why the ROCs, different ROCs are given. One X of Z, but different ROCs. We'll talk about this. But before that, let's understand how to arrange this in a proper form so that we can solve this problem easily. Fine. So given is this, and there is a rule that we need to follow. Very important rule. Everybody make a note of this, understand this. The rule very clearly says that always have a Z. See here, always have a Z in denominator in on LHS. On LHS means this is left hand side. On left hand side in the denominator you should always have Z to begin with. Understand? Okay. Now how to do that? Bring that Z to the denominator like this. So this is the arrangement everybody should do. Okay. So in this problem, there is a z in the numerator on the right hand side. That z in the numerator on the right hand side is brought to denominator on the left hand side because that is something that is asked for. So this is how the arrangement should be. Fine. Now what we do is this. We need to factorize this. Okay. So with calculators, you need to be able to obtain the roots of the quadratic equation. This is a quadratic equation. You need to obtain the roots. So what are the roots of this? You know how to obtain the roots, right? You can do manually or you can do using your calculator. If you have calculators with you, you can try that. Or after my presentation, you can look into the calculators. Using the calculators, you should be able to find out the roots. And the roots are 1 by 3 and 1. The roots are 1 by 3 and 1, but it is factorization. And since it is factorization, we have written it as z minus 1 by 3 into z minus 1. So this quadratic equation is written as z minus 1 by 3 into z minus 1 because the roots are 1 by 3 and 1. Understand that? See here now, this is how it looks like. Now, using partial fraction expansion, how can I expand this? Using partial fraction expansion. How can I do this using partial fraction method? I can do like this. Okay. Before 5 minutes, I'll ask you to give your attendance. It is still 8 minutes are there. You seem to be in a hurry. I know less than 1 minute. I'll not go till then. I know it goes off anytime there. It says less than 1, but it would not be less than 1. Most of it would be much lesser than that. Okay. Now see here. This is how I can arrange the right hand side by partial fraction method. Now we need to find out K1 and K2. Okay. How to find out K1 and K2? You can use your own method to do that. You can use your own method and have got minus 3 by 2 and 3 by 2. Check this, okay, and see how we obtain this after this problem. Fine. Now we substitute minus 3 by 2 and plus 3 by 2 here. See? In this, we have just substituted this as minus 3 by 2 here. So it would be minus 3 by 2 times 1 by this. So it would be plus 3 by 2 times 1 by this. Okay. So that is how we have arranged this. Okay. Now, after substitution, it looks like this. Now, the z what you have on the left hand side, the z what you have on the left hand side needs to brought to the right hand side in the numerator because I want standard functions here. Understand how to do it? It is 1 by z minus 1 by 3. 1 by z minus 3 is not a standard transform. So z by z minus 1 by 3 is a standard transform. That's why to have z in the numerator in the later steps, you need to save that z on the left hand side in the denominator. Okay. Now x of z can be arranged like this. So this z is taken onto the right hand side, the numerator. Okay. Now, what is the inverse z transform of this? So this is what is there on the right hand side, and this is what is there on the right hand side. So if you apply the inverse z transform on this, what is that we are going to get? That needs to be discussed. Okay. So before discussion of that, everybody give your attendance. Already 30 have given. Okay, only 10 more remaining, I think. Some people have already left the session. I'm planning to conduct a test, quiz test for 1 hour on Sunday. Okay, and the portions is the Z transforms. I want everybody of you to be prepared for this. Fine. The whole chapter, including the inverse Z transforms. So I'll be conducting test on Sunday. Okay, I'll be letting you know the time. Whether I'll be conducting in the morning or afternoon. I'll let you know. Okay. Uh, but be prepared. Okay, on Sunday we will have the test. Fine. Okay. Now see here. To understand the inverse Z transform for this, we need to understand the region of convergence. Understanding the region of convergence, we need to know which signal should come along with this. Okay, I repeat, to apply the inverse Z transforms, okay, to apply the inverse Z transforms, fine, we first need to know the ROC. There are three different ROCs they are given. So let's consider the first ROC, that is Z greater than 1. Okay, why they have given Z greater than 1? See, there are two poles, one at Z equal to 1 by 3, another one at Z equal to 1. So 1 by 3 and 1 are poles. We call them as roots, right? They are roots of quadratic equation. Roots of quadratic equation are actually the poles of x of z. Okay, and the greater pole is the pole with the higher value is 1. Greater magnitude is 1, and the ROC is saying it is outside the circle with radius 1. So that means you should understand whether a positive time sequence is associated with this or negative time sequence is associated with this. That needs to be understood. Whether the positive time signal needs to be associated or negative time signal needs to be associated. That needs to be told you seeing the ROC. ROC says it is outside the circle. Outside the circle means it is positive time sequence. Understand that? So positive time sequence means U of n. So now using U of n in time domain, how can you apply the inverse Z transform to this? It is like this. Since ROC is outside the circle, the time domain signal is positive time sequence. Okay, and therefore the Z transform of this should imply this. So this is just for this ROC. We have two different ROCs for which the x of n would change. See here, it's 1 by 3 to the power n u of n. Minus 3 by 2 is always there. So that's a scalar. Okay, so how to obtain the inverse Z transform of this? It is 1 by 3 to the power n u of n. Why u of n? Because it is outside the circle. So here it is u of n. Z by z minus 1. It is u of n. U of n because this is 1. This is 1 by 3 to the power n u of n because this is positive time exponential. This is unit step function. Positive time exponential, unit step function. Both are positive time sequences. Why is that so? Because region of convergence is outside the highest pole, highest value of pole. Okay, so anytime now will be off. If you have not understood, post your questions. Fine, I'll take that and I'll make your doubts clear. Understand? So we have different ROCs. For different ROCs, the inverse Z transform would differ depending on which signal you would bring in time domain. So we have brought in U of n because it is outside the circle. The region of convergence is outside the circle. Hope you have understood. In the next class, we shall take 2 more ROCs and then apply the inverse Z transform to this. Okay? Yeah. I think with that, we can end this session.